minds fill with memories before they're gone, before they're gone. Rain
A few more
broke
minutes for
before
people to join.
what a comfort it was to minds filled with memories. It had to be paid.
You're
It got
welcome,
great.
guys. So please tell me where you're coming from, where you're joining from, your name and where you're joining from in the chat box.
I guess it must be so because our love never changed. Such was our fate on a purple path to that.
Welcome,
Purple
everybody.
path
You're welcome.
to
I'm
gray
excited to
skies.
have you here today for this training.
Brilliance of our season and the blue of your eyes seeps into every line. And the purple path I remember taking back through gray skies and daylight.
It's nice to have you here. You're welcome. Please don't forget to put your name and where you're joining from in the chat so we can welcome you properly.
It's easy. The words get long when both our minds fill with memories before they're
You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome.
when I was younger.
Okay, so in the next, I think 1 more minute for people to join, then we'll be starting officially.
Cloudy days.
Welcome, Umba from Abuja. You're welcome. You're welcome, Ijoma from Ori. You're welcome.
When the ride was over and no mistakes were made, we saw it through.
We are excited to have you for this training. So tell me in the comment section, I mean the chat box, are you ready to learn? Are you ready to be impacted today? Because I think it's going to be an awesome experience. And we're going to have so much to learn.
Purple path I remember taking back to gray
Yes, I can see Joma says she's very ready. Welcome, guys. Okay, so we'll be starting now.
Easy. The words get long when both our minds fill with memories.
I'm still waiting for more people to tell me where they are joining from and their names. Just a few people have replied. So please, guys, your name and where you're joining from.
A sunflower.
Toby from Lagos, you are welcome. Thank you for joining.
Love, I was a wallflower that was till you found me.
Okay, now, so let's start. I think we have enough people. We have Gladys from Warri. Wow, you're welcome. Gloria from Cross River. We have Saliat from Lagos. You're welcome, guys. We're happy to have you today. So we'll be starting with our opening prayer. I'll be calling on Woodry to lead us in an open prayer. Woodry, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. In Jesus' name,
Amen.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for the opportunity to gather here once again. We ask for your presence, O Lord, to guide us as we discuss. Give us wisdom, grant us the ability, O Lord, to learn and retain whatever we learn in this place today. Bless each and every one of us here, the facilitators and the participants, O Lord. This is our through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for that, Woodry. Thank you so much for opening this meeting with the prayers. Thank you so much. Okay, next on our agenda, I will be calling on Mr. Dare to just give us a brief history of ASADS and what we do here. So,
All right.
Mr. Dare, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Dara Asobala, founder of ASADS. So ASADS means Anti-Suicide and Depression Squad. So I used to be suicidal and depressed in the year 2017, and I was able to come out of it. And as a result of that, which gave birth to ASADS, late December. So for me, it was just about creating that community to be able to like help people that were struggling with their mental health. As the name signifies, ASADS means Anti-Suicide and Depression Squad, which is a group of people that are anti, suicide and depression, basically. And in less than 6 hours, the group was filled up, basically. So we had over 200 and something people on the group. And I knew that, okay, it's time, let's go out there. And I asked everyone to introduce themselves, tell us why they joined. And everyone started sharing how they were struggling with their mental health. And I knew that, okay, there was a lot of work we had to do just to focus on making sure that everyone was okay. And then we just started off. From there, we had other groups along the way, Ghana, Abuja. But those groups later on were later disbanded, right? So at the moment, to just cut the long story short, ASADS is a buffet of mental health solution. For those of us that don't know the statistics, every 40 seconds, someone takes their life globally. So every year you have about 800,000 people dying by suicide. In Nigeria, we're over 250 million, and we do not have up to 1,000 registered mental health professionals. And so what that means is that even if we had 1,000, one person has to attend to about 250,000 people, which is ridiculous. The numbers are high. So at ASADS, we come up with various solutions, such as our Monday conversations, as well as our Friday conversations in our Telegram group. For those of us on the WhatsApp community, we have close to 1,000 people in the WhatsApp community. We have over 800 people in the Telegram community. And we are privileged to say we've had over 50 free mental health training sessions done in the last 8 years. We have these sessions every second Sunday of the month, free of charge, from 2 p.m. West African time to 4 p.m. West African time. For people to join us, in case you're planning to join us, we are very structured. And I hold my volunteers in high esteem. We have standards here. You can volunteer for 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. Lives are at stake in terms of what we are doing. For you to typically join us, you will fill a form that will take you 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then we'll send you a 1-hour recording talking about the purpose of the group, how we work, our systems, our modus operandi. And then we'll send you our structure document, and then you will be given a test based on the department that you want to join, right? And like I said, you can volunteer for 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. You're also entitled to a reference letter if you meet the standard requirements. What are the standard requirements? If you're volunteering for 3 months, you need to have a KPI of 60% for 3 months. If you're volunteering with us for 6 months, you need to have a KPI of 60% for that 6 months. And if you're volunteering with us for a year, you need to have a KPI of 60% of at least 6 months and any other month, basically. We also have the ASAD listeners who are mental health first aiders that attend, listen to cases to see how they can help people. We also have access to about 12 mental health professionals, local and foreign, but people can always reach out to help them. We have other activities such as the ASAD store, where we go to rural communities to talk about mental health. We have our secondary school tour, where we go to secondary schools to talk about mental health. And we have the religious store, where we go to either a mosque or go to a church to talk about mental health. Basically, we have about 13 departments. All our volunteers are meant to give us 2 hours of their time, aside from their ASAD listeners who have to be available 24/7. I'm sure we all can agree that even for those of us in Nigeria, a lot is going on. And so what does that mean? Our volunteers are really selfless. No matter how good our system is, we can't do what we do without our volunteers, basically. And then this amazing department, which is the mental health training department, they run external trainings to other organizations, physical organizations, as well as virtual organizations as well. Last year, we're privileged to run mental health training sessions for Nike in Netherlands, Access Bank, Access Pension, Raven Bank, and a couple of other organizations as well. So we hope you guys will enjoy the session and be relaxed, basically. So yeah, so in order not to waste time, I'm supposed to have the icebreaker, right? Am I correct, Maga? So that's it about us. You can also follow us on our social media page, which you will see in the chat box. It will be nice for us to switch on our videos as we do the icebreaker. So can everyone just sit up straight as we have the icebreaker? Just sit up straight wherever you are. Can you take a deep breath in? Just breathe in. Breathe out. Take a deep breath in again. Breathe out. Now this time I want you to take a deep breath in, and as I count to 5, you take the breath in, and I will count to 5, you hold your breath, and then I count to 5, you breathe out. Right? So take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now take a deep breath in again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's do it one more time. Take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. How many of us feel relaxed? Can you raise your hand? If you feel relaxed by the exercise, can you raise your hand? How many of us feel relaxed by the exercise? Anyone? Or you could let us know in the chat box. All right. Gloria says she did. Okay. All right. Over to you, Maga. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dare, for that impactful section. Thank you so much for introducing us to ASAT and everything that we do. So for those of us that are interested, the links are in the chat. So feel free to just, you can join the forum where you'll be getting more information about ASAT. And for those of us that would like to be part of what we do, you would like to volunteer your time, we still welcome you. We still want you. So please feel free to just indicate by joining the forum, and from there we'll get back to you. We would get in touch with you. So right now we'll be moving to another interesting segment, another interesting part, where I will be introducing our speaker for today. So I need people to just guess in the comments, in the chat. Just tell me who you think our speaker is and what you know about her. Just let's see how many people know about our speaker. So in the chat, I'm waiting for your response. Just let me know who you think our speaker is today. If you can take a quick guess. Okay, guys, I'm waiting for your responses. I've not gotten any yet. Okay, so we'll get right into it. Today, we're having a very distinguished individual coming here to train us and talk to us about mental health and relationships. I advise you, please get your notepads, get your topic. I advise you to get your notepads and your pen, your paper, because there will be a lot to learn so that you can jot down things. And if you have questions, please make sure you put them down. Make sure you put down your questions so that you're able to ask questions, because that's the point of here. Being here, we're here to learn. We're here to enlighten ourselves. So we have to ask questions. So our speaker today is no other person than Miss Dima Anadi. She's a distinguished mental health consultant, a coach, a visionary leader, dedicated to transforming lives and reshaping perceptions surrounding mental awareness. She's the co-founder of Dima Amadi Mental Health Foundation, a non-profit organization aimed at fostering mental health education and awareness through unique initiative, outreach, and providing support for communities. Their initiative include a fast-growing Facebook online support called Pillars Community and the hashtag Caretakers Initiatives, aimed at empowering the mental health well-being of cancer patients and people living with HIV and victims of rape. Dima is currently the head of operations at K2 Therapy and Seniority Support Limited, where she applies her technical expertise and strategic insights to ensure the delivery of high-quality mental health service tailored to unique needs of individuals and organizations alike. She is a pioneer behind the first mental health radio podcast in Nigeria, initially airing on Citizens 93.7 FM in Abuja. This groundbreaking platform now streams live on Facebook and YouTube every Friday by 4 p.m., offering accessible mental health insights and conversations to a global audience. A rising author in the mental health genre, Dima's debut book, Psychological Secrets to Unlock Your Partner, is earning critical acclaim and rapidly emerging as a bestseller. Her literary work reflects her commitment to addressing the indications of human relationship and emotional well-being, solidifying her her reputation as an influential thought leader in the field. She has written mastermind research papers reflecting deep insights into your brain, science, and well-being and mental well-being, some of which are the technical theory of suicide, the influence of mental health on the Christian concept of backsliding, etc. So more. Dima is also a captivating speaker whose voice resonates at Panyan's events. Notable appearance includes American Society of Industrial Security in 2004, annual retreats, Abuja chapter, and Woman Tech Makers Gwarimpa International Women's Day celebration, themed Refine Possible her thoughts, providing thought-provoking sections inspire audience to embrace resilience, possibility, and prioritize their mental health. Dima is also commitment to mental health, extended to corporate and institutionalized training. She has successfully trained staff at reputable organizations such as Side Slaves International Security Agency, the educational institution, equipping them with tools to address mental health challenges and cultivate supportive environments. Dima by passion and purpose, Dima Amadi continues to break barriers and innovation within mental health space. Her work inspires individuals, professionals, and organizations to prioritize their mental health and also to embrace their transformative power. So, like you said, this is just like I've said already, this is just a few of what our speaker today is, and I will give her the floor so she can tell us more about herself and also give us this training on mental health and relationships. Welcome, Ma. Over to you, Ma.
Hi. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can hear you, Ma.
If you can hear me, please. Okay. All
All
right, great. So, my name is Dima Amadi. I like to consider myself as an ordained mental health consultant and coach. And why do I say ordained? It is because looking back at the years of my practice in mental health and just getting into the mental health industry, I realized that I did not actually choose this path from the very beginning. In fact, this path of mental health has been chasing me since I was young. It has been chasing after me. A few days ago, I made a post on Facebook, and I was just, saying that I never left the, the regular employment, corporate employment, whatever, because I just felt like leaving. I left employment because I have a burden about mental health, and it felt like a calling. So it wasn't that I wasn't comfortable. In fact, being employed was my comfort zone. It's a place I really wanted to be. But I just found that this mental health thing is something that is inside of me, and I needed to, follow this path. So that's why I consider myself an ordained consultant and coach. And I'm honored to be here today because this is the only way that we can continue to spread word. So thank you to ASAT for hosting this and for consistently hosting this over the month. Thank you so much. I'd like to start with a story or an incident. I'll share with you an incident that happened about 4 days ago. The topic that we're discussing today is a very, very important topic. Before I share that incident, let me tell you something. I am head of operations at Kedu Therapy and Serenity Support, which is a company that is focused on providing accessible and affordable mental health care, that is therapy, to Nigerians, given the outrageous gap between therapists and the people who need therapy in Nigeria. It's a very outrageous gap. It is, the ratio is 1:1 million, meaning that if 1 million people need to access mental health care, need to access therapy because they are depressed or suicidal or whatever, they would have to depend on one therapist. That is 1:1 million. Imagine that that was the case with malaria or typhoid or any of these, sicknesses that would just walk into the pharmacy and say, hey, give me these tablets. If that was the case with something like malaria or headache, people would be dropping dead on the roads. So you can just imagine the scenario. So given that gap, we try as much to provide mental health therapy at very affordable prices. In fact, we deliver care at low as 5,000 naira. What do I want to tell you? We ran an ad some days ago, and it's the first major ad that we're running in the company. 70%, in fact, 80% of the people who messaged in asking to book therapy, asking for help, messaged in because of a relationship crash. Why am I even saying 80%? More than 80% are relationship issues, relationship troubles, relationship problems, both men and women. Both men and women. And this is it just goes to show that relationship, if a relationship is single-handedly one of the major leading causes of depression and anxiety, relationships. So this is a very important topic and we should not take it for granted. It depends on, how you view relationship and what you're looking to get from there. Take this very seriously. So back to the incident that I wanted to share with you. Some days ago, my sister's daughter was sick. Sorry, my sister's husband fell sick and he had to be rushed to the hospital. So the daughter needed to stay with me. It was early in the morning. So she stayed with me until evening. Eventually, they got there and they were admitted. So they couldn't come back the same day. Towards evening, the daughter is about 3 years old. She's about 3 years old. The daughter got really cranky and, she wanted to see her mommy. She became cranky and all that. So I consoled her, pampered her, gave her a pen, gave her paper to dribble the gibberish that would make her happy. And while she was doing that just on the floor, the mom called. After a while, the mom called, and the moment she heard that it was the mom, she just stood up and came to the phone and burst out crying. Mommy, come back. Mommy, come back. Come and carry me. And I really felt for her. She just started crying and asking the mom to come. I really felt for her. But in that moment, I realized something very important. I realized that there was something that triggered those tears. Something triggered those emotions. Something triggered the want for her mom. And what triggered that is a connection that she has with her mom. It is, and now it is the absence, and then it was the absence of that connection, the connection that she had been used to, the relationship that she has with her mother, which she was missing at that point. And this is the relationship that will eventually fuel her flame for life if she continues to grow like that. Now, imagine that the mom did not come back that day. I mean, she didn't come back that day. She came back the following day. Imagine she didn't come back that day. The following day, she didn't come back. And after a week, she didn't come back. Imagine the trauma that would have created in her feelings, in her mind. Her mind will begin to interpret different things to her. And then her feelings will follow through, which will begin to influence the way that she acts, which will begin to influence the way that she shows up, and which is basically what mental health is all about. The capacity of the mind to um, conceive how to think or what to think, how to feel, and how to act. Now, my sister's daughter, when she went back to sleep, like after her mom consoled her and said, "Don't worry, I'm going to come back," she went back to sleep, and after about 10 to 15 minutes, she just jolted up from her sleep, and she's making all these sounds. "Mommy, come back." So I had to go pat her, calm her down. That happened at least twice before she finally slept off and woke up in the morning. This is exactly when I talk about mental health, I like to relate it a lot with just the things that are happening with us physically, like the physical health. Because when people understand mental health as physical health, it becomes easier, it becomes more relatable, it becomes more understandable. Now, what happened to her was, that's the absence of her mother created a hole in her heart for that moment. What I want you to imagine is how big that hole can become if years went by and she didn't get to see the mom. She jolting up from sleep is, trauma. She remembering, oh, there's something wrong. My mom is not here. So she jolts up from sleep. Her body is responding to the trauma that she's experiencing and trying to understand in that moment. Now, imagine this in a different way. A child who grew up being emotionally neglected, how this can truly affect that child and the way that that child shows up in every area of his or her life, whether work, family, or relationships. And today we are focusing on relationships. And if you have just listened to this incidents or story attentively, can you imagine yourself in all the holes that have been created in your heart, in your mind, and what your mind has conceived from, the absence of some connections and, what it has cost you, how long it has lasted, and what it can probably be costing you. And so today we're talking about, for me, this is just mental health and relationships, but I've titled it Painting the Canvas, right? Is that what it is? So I've titled it Painting the Canvas of Love Using Mental Health as a Brush. I believe that you can change the way that you see love. You can create the story of your own love and your healthy standard of love if you use mental health as a tool. Please, at this point, I'd like the slides to be shared. Thank you. So painting the canvas of love using mental health as a brush is just talking about strengthening connections. It's just, creating the importance of strengthening connections. And this is why I shared that story. Next slide, please. I shared that story because I want you to understand the benefits of great relationships and the benefits of mental health. Why are relationships important? What is the role of relationships in well-being? And what is the role of well-being in relationships? How can the capacity of your mind influence the way that you or your partner or someone else shows up in a relationship? Strong relationships provide emotional support and promote happiness. Happiness is a tool that is crucial for motivation and even increases the willingness to live. And positive connections with others are linked to better improved self-esteem. We can all testify, if every one of us here have not had that experience, a lot of us can testify about how toxic relationships can change the way that you see yourself and the way that you show up, meaning that it can affect your self-esteem. And sometimes it is the other person who is crushing into your life and changing the standards for you even when you don't want it. And this is because of the way that they, you know, they showed up in the relationship, what they brought to the relationship. So all of these, for me, I call them intentional connections, which can only be achieved using mental health relationships. And how can we use mental health to actually build great relationships? Next slide, please. When it comes to romantic relationships, I like to see mental health as a foundation, and the strength of that foundation depends on the strength of the foundation depends on how strong and how healthy the relationship will be. The strength of the foundation, just like the strength of the foundation of the real house, would determine what type of building can be set upon that foundation. You can't lay a foundation for a bungalow and then you put a 3-story building on it. You're just trying to kill yourself intentionally. You're trying to take your life by suicide. So even if you tell people that you're doing this by faith, to all know that no, you have an ulterior motive, which is to take your life, and probably that of others. If it's like one of these wicked landlords, they know they won't live there. So we know they have ulterior motive of killing the tenants who are going to live there. So the strength of the foundation that you have is going to determine the strength of the house on it. And now I'd like you to see your relationship as this house and see mental health as a foundation. We're going to get very practical here. And I want you to be open-minded, and I want you to be doing a lot of, introspection. Don't think of yourself as perfect. While we're talking about these things, don't be thinking about your partner alone, or probably your ex, and saying, hey, I knew it. It was him or her that came and destroyed my mental health. It could be true. But if you looked at yourself first, it will be a lot better. There'll be a lot more positive results, because all of us are coming from somewhere. So when you understand yourself, when you are self-aware of the state of your mental health, where you are, where you belong, it's so going to help you to show up better. It's going to help you to choose the right partner. It's going to help you to make the better decisions in your relationship, whether it is potential relationship or the one that you are already in. So mental health is a foundation. And what are some of these foundations that we're talking about? What can we call foundations when it comes to mental health? First of all, I want you to understand that you and your partner have different foundations. So will your strengths. So will your strengths. So will your decisions. What I mean is that you and your partner are coming from different places. Your mental health foundations are different. You have different foundations. The cement, what are some of the cement producers that we have? Somebody help us in the chat. I've not built house before, so please help me. What are some of the cement producers? Let's see, like 2 cement producers. I think there is only one called Mango. So I'm waiting for the charts and to be sure that, people are even listening to me. Cement producers, cement manufacturers in Nigeria. Can we see some of them in the chart? Sanford, BUA. Okay. Okay. So some people may use Sanford cement. Another person will use, Dangote. Yes, of course, Dangote. So one house may be built with strictly Dangote cement, strictly Dangote. Another person may decide to use BUA, right? Or whatever it's called. And then another person may decide to use Mango. There is this one I know, they call it mango. I think they said it's a new one and that it was cheap or whatever. So people are going to use different materials to build their foundation. In the same way, the mental health of your partner is being built with different foundations. Just like my sister's daughter, look at the foundation that is being laid for her. It's a foundation of love. It's a foundation of emotional attention. She's getting emotional attention from her parents, from her father. And that's why when the connection was not there, she felt traumatized. So different people are going to use different foundations. A lot of people are coming from different places. You are coming from a different place. That person that you're in talking stage with or that you're in a relationship with, they have a different foundation. So you have to keep that in mind. So this is going to influence the way they show up. This is going to influence their strength. This is going to influence their love language. This is going to influence their personality type, their temperament. This is going to influence their decision making, whether or not they were giving that sort of attention, whether or not their parents said to them when they took second positions, I told you, it's so great, good girl, well done. I know you can do better next time. Or they asked them, that person will carry first, he gets two heads, you know, and there is nothing that person does that is satisfying or that can be complimented. So these are all different foundations and people are coming from these different places. So you need to understand the foundation that your partner have laid for them, by them, growing up, even after growing up. Some people were raped, some people have bad sexual harassment experiences, a lot of things. You can think of a lot of things. Then when it comes to the positive part, people have different foundations for kindness. People have different foundations for honesty. There are some families that are not groomed in honesty. People have different foundations for the way that they care for other people. And these are all the basis of their mental health. These are all the things that form the basis of their mental health. So I often tell people that when you meet a person or when you're in a talking stage with a person, a lot of people get easily carried away. You tell somebody that, someone tells you that, oh, I don't even like talking to my partner often. I don't want that because it can cause this, it can cause that. And this is coming from this person's past relationship. This is something that has, created the way, reformed the way that they think about, spending quality time, for example. And then this person is telling you this. There are certain things that somebody tells you at talking stage, and you're thinking to yourself that, oh, it's a goal. You're thinking to yourself that, oh, it's a goal. If they are able to talk to me about this, that means they really love me. That means they really want me in their life, or those type of things. But you need to understand that when people are saying things like that, is the right time for you to ask them what happened to you. Why is it that you have this type of perspective? What happened to you? I listened to Oprah Winfrey's podcast. She was interviewing someone. I think this is a book, actually. Someone had written a book titled What Happened to You. I've forgotten the author of that book. And it made a lot of sense. And it's just helping us to restructure the way that we see people and understand people. So when you see somebody behaving indifferent or abnormal or having a certain perspective about love, about romance, and you're thinking to yourself, you should be asking what happened to you? Why is this? You should trace back to the foundation. When a house has an issue, you have to trace back to the foundation. Was this foundation the appropriate one for this building? Was it standard for this building that is laid on top of it? So this is just me putting it out there. When you meet people and they say certain things, probably you meet someone, they're like, oh, in 5 years, I've not opened my heart to anybody. I locked my heart intentionally. I decided I'll never open my heart to anybody. Don't be in a haste to be too happy and say, oh, now that this person have come into their life, that means, oh my God, they really find me worthy. Don't be in a haste to make those type of conclusions. It is your cue to ask what happened to you. What is your foundation? I mean, not in a bad way, of course. very politely, very intentional. You just want to understand this person so that you don't lay the wrong foundation. Now, what are some of the factors that affect our foundation, the laying of our foundation? Next slide, please. So some of the factors affecting our foundation, number one is stress. Stress can affect the foundation of, that is someone's mental health. Remember, mental health equals foundation and the house equals relationship in this business, in the topic that we're talking about today. So some of the factors that can affect a person's foundation is stress. If a person have been extremely stressed, they may show up differently. They may show up differently in the relationship. Stress is a very huge factor. Stress will reduce the production of your happy hormones. Stress will reduce it. And so you will hardly be happy. There are some people you see that you're like, why are you so bitter? Why are you so bitter? It is because they are too stressed. You see them, they are working morning and night. Sometimes you go to the market and you want to price some of these market women and they just pick offense. Someone that has been under the sun and they tell you that this thing is so price and you want to price it down. They're like, get out if you don't want to buy. Some of them will go as much as asking if you are mad. You know, they just pick offense. It's probably not who they are. It's just that stress have brought them to that point. Their tolerance level have dropped because of stress. And so for even human beings and in relationships, when a person is extremely stressed, it can drop their tolerance level. It can drop the way they show up. It can drop the way that they look at you. It can drop the way that they view life. They can start viewing you as an object. They can stop being intentional. So stress is a huge factor. Is to building our foundations. Different types of stress, work, family, different types of, it could even be stress from past relationships. So stress can truly affect the way that our foundational mindset is being, built and formed. And then, of course, your environment. Your environment is also a huge factor. If you grow up in an environment where people don't care for each other, people are not intentional about each other, you are probably going to, become like that. Now imagine that your partner grew up in an environment where people abuse each other easily. Any little thing, you're like, they mad. Any little thing. There are people that find it very easy to abuse each other. Not even as a joke, like it has become a serious thing. That's the way that they caution. So if you meet that type of person and you are saying to that person that Omo, I don't like the way you insulted me, the person will be like, somebody cannot play with you again. Meanwhile, this other person grew up in an environment where they are very, very, they're intentional about what they say. They approach people differently and all that. And this also takes us to communication. Communication and environment work hand in hand. So if your mental health capacity or your mind's capacity is built to think that you can communicate in an abusive way, it can influence the way you feel and the way you act. And when it influences it, you show up differently. You show up being an abuser. You think is normal. In my book, Psychological Secrets to Unlock Your Partner, one of the keys that I mentioned there is love language. And it is in line with what we are saying. Communication and, environment, which you can see in the love language of a person. So I had said something in the book regarding a certain love language called receiving gifts. So when it comes to receiving gifts, people think that receiving gifts is all about money. You have to have money to buy this person iPhone or whatever. When a person's love language is receiving gifts, every little thing matters. All they want to know is that you were in their thoughts. For example, when we're growing up, my dad was the type of person that won't come back home without buying you, even if it's, a stick of lollipop or granuts or something really simple. It could be the simplest thing. It could be a big thing too. But he made it a point of duty to come home with something in his hand. So when my dad comes home and we welcome him, we're all running to his bag because we know we'll find something. Now, that shaped the way that I view love. It shaped my love language. And so I'm someone who receiving gifts matter too. If you come to me, although it's not my primary love language, but it's something that I truly appreciate. And even in some relationships that I have been in, when people come to me and they just come empty-handed, it kind of shocked me, especially when I was younger, when I started dating earlier. When people come to me and they come empty-handed, it kind of just shocks me because it's it's almost like shock to me. Like, who comes back home without buying people stuff? Because I then also became like that. I'm coming back, whatever it's, even if it's ice cream, whatever, and these are some of the foundations that shape us in different ways. The same thing that was happening to my sister's daughter is the same thing that will happen to you if you take some of these things for granted. Probably you tag yourself with someone who are this big hole that has not been filled for them. And they show up like this. They show up with all their stress. They show up with their trauma. They show up with their negative experiences. And that's how it starts. That's how depression develops in relationships. So when they show up like this, they are showing you a different side of them. And to you, you are saying, oh, they are showing you their true color. They are showing you a different side of them. That is the true side of them. That is who they are. That is what their mind is capable of feeling, of thinking, of acting. So when they come with it and they show it to you, you're jolted. It's like you're jolted from your sleep. So that jolting is the trauma. So the more you are jolting from your sleep, jolting from your awareness, and you're like, why is this person treating me like this? Probably you're in a relationship and everything is going well. 2 months later, your partner wants to talk to you and he starts screaming or she starts screaming. Or if people are trying to have a conversation, you say something, and the next your partner is like, be like they mad, to him, he's trying to express himself. To you, you are like, oh my goodness, like, how did we get here? Why would you raise your voice? Why are you talking to me like that? Different foundations, different cements, different, and his own may not even be, or her own may not be coming from just experience. It could be different things affecting it. It could be trauma, it could be experience, it could be environment, it could be parental upbringing, it could be past relationship that has influenced that person to be like that. So when they not act like that, you are jolted from your sleep. You're like, oh my God, it's like I'm in the wrong place. So it's like I've entered the wrong drain. Why is this person screaming at me like that? Or you're in a relationship and you talking stage, you are, living talking stage. Eventually, you call your partner, they don't call back. You call your partner, they don't call back, and they don't leave you a message saying that, I'm sorry, I saw your message, I'm going to call you back. Communication, lack of communication. So you're jolting from your sleep, like, So when you eventually speak to them and you're asking them, why didn't you call back? Didn't you see my message? They're like, oh, I was busy. I was going to call you back. Yeah, but you saw it, so you should have just messaged and say, hey, I'm busy, I'm going to call back. So, but they're seeing it like, are you mad? I said I was busy. So it's different, it's a different foundation and different experiences that is speaking. If these were some things that you had conversations about, some things that you found out using certain keys, certain formulas, it will be easier for you to have that communication in the beginning. These communications are important. Always tell people that when you're getting into a relationship, make sure that you find out the mental health status of your partner. How healthy are you? The way that you do fertility tests and all of these tests, genotype and all that. One major thing that needs to be included is a mental health checkup. Are you depressed? Is something bothering you? Let's know now. Do you have anxiety disorder? For example, I live with anxiety disorder. Sometimes I don't like my phone ringing out. So there's a state of mind I'll be in, I'll put it on silent. If, for example, I have a partner and he calls me and I don't pick, he already knows this information. And he knows, or maybe her phone is on silent. When I eventually get to my phone, I'm saying, oh, I'm sorry, my phone was on silent. I'm someone that, because of my anxiety disorder, when it's raining heavily and I'm alone, I feel very uncomfortable. I feel very scared, fear of the unknown. You know, my heart will just start jolting. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just thinking about a lot of negative things. So in fact, let me just be vulnerable enough. I've dated someone some years ago who knew about this anxiety disorder, but he did not know that it was anxiety disorder. I did not also know that it was anxiety disorder, because at the time, who knew anything about mental health anyway? So, but he just discovered that this my girlfriend does not, when it's raining, she's not, she will not be herself. So if we're not together when it's raining heavily, even if we're quarreling, he will message me and say, are you okay? That could not even be the point of reconciliation, you know. So, but if we're together, he will just come to me. If it just starts raining, I mean heavy. So if we're together and it's raining, he will just come to me and probably hold me or just stay by my side so that I'm not scared, so that I don't feel alone. Because I'm feeling like, oh, this house is going to fall off, or someone is going to break into this house. And since it's raining, I won't know. These are some of the symptoms of anxiety disorder. So you need to understand the mental health status of your partner. Have they been traumatized? And what kind of trauma are we talking about? Are we talking about first level trauma, or second level trauma, or third level trauma? What kind of trauma are we talking about? Trauma that can influence a lot of things, even your sexual activities, the way that you just generally show up. So, to just get forward and over with this, I'm just going to share some of the things. Next slide, please. Some of the things that can affect the way that your partner shows up, and some of the things that can be affected if they show up with a negative foundation, or a foundation that is not well built, you know, a weak mental capacity. If they show up, let's put it that way. If they show up like that, what are some of the things that can be affected? And if they don't show up, what are some of the things that can be affected? What are some of the importance of making sure that the canvas of your painting, or the canvas of your love, is built on mental health? What are some of the importance of it? So it's a whole lot of things. Over the next slides, I'm going to be mixing up these reasons, this concept. So spending quality time with loved ones, the value of time together. A partner who have a weak foundation, or a weak bond or connection with the people around him or her, will show up uninterested, or not having enough strength to spend quality time, probably not even understanding the importance. And that's why I said you need to understand that we have different foundations and different strengths. So your partner is probably saying, we need to spend time together. We're not spending time together. And you are like, we sleep and wake up every day together. What spending time are you talking about again? You are confused. But your partner, probably is coming from a place where in their home, sometimes parents and children play Ludo together. They play what? They play, what's the name of that? It's monogamy. Is this game? I've forgotten the name. So they play all these games together and people laugh. Take, for example, in my own family, we spend a lot of quality time. And I told this story in my book too. In fact, growing up, in those days in primary school, during, the summer heat period like this, we'll come out in front of the compound and we sit down, we'll take in fresh air, We're probably eating coconuts and tapioca or something, all those combination of foods that are very nice, or corn and pear or something, anything, whatever it's the season. So when we come out and you are inside, my dad is going to come inside and ask if you're a devil, or if you're working for the devil, that you hate to spend time with your family. So it meant so much to him that he would quote the Bible to you to make sure that you come out and join other people. It was that serious. Quality time was a thing. And so that also shaped the way that I show up when it comes to quality time in my relationships, and not just intimate relationships. Workplace, whatever, friendships. I like when people are together. People are sharing ideas. People are showing up for each other. So spending quality time when your partner have a different foundation, it can influence the way that they spend quality time. So you need to understand what type of foundation did they have when it comes to spending quality time. These are some of the conversations you should have. And now, not spending quality time can also affect your mental health. So it's a vice versa thing. Spending quality time with family and friends strengthens emotional bonds and fosters trust. Quality time creates opportunities for meaningful conversations and shared experiences. So the value of time together cannot be underestimated. It is the value of time together that has created that capacity of love in my sister's daughter's heart, that she feels empty when her mom is not there. She really wanted the mom. She's like, oh my God, I'm missing this woman. Even though she could not interpret it in those exact words, she felt traumatized because of that absence. And this is what happens when we build meaningful connections. We can feel it when they are not there. But when we don't build meaningful connections, we don't feel it when they are not there. And even when people try to feel it, sometimes it could look like, this person is coming on me too fast. Next slide, please. So practicing good communication. This is the foundation of strong relationships, like we already explained. You need to practice good communication. For people who do not have, who didn't practice good communication, for where they're coming from, it can influence the way they act, the way they think, feel, and act. So good communication is important. You need to communicate. Clear and honest communication. Actively listening, not listening to respond, but listening to understand your partner, listening to them to understand what they are really feeling, what they are really going through. So active communication is important in building a good mental capacity, in building a good foundation for your relationship. And also when people are coming from a place where communication is not a thing, it can also affect the type of cement they are coming to the foundation with. The house that you want to build is going to affect the brick they are coming with. Probably they're coming with a mud brick made from clay, and you're coming from brick made from original Dangote cement. And two of you match. So one part of the relationship is shaking. You're like, this wall is broken. Yeah, what's going on? But I'm bringing my best to this relationship. What's going on? A lot of times it is the mysteries hidden in these mental capacities, in this foundation that we don't find. And that is what cracks up the relationship. A lot of times, people don't even need to divorce. A lot of times, people don't need to break up. It is just the unseen things, the unknown things, the undiscussed things, the uncommunicated things that breaks up relationships. So sometimes your partner is not really a mystery. They are probably just waiting to be understood. Next slide, please. Being supportive and caring. This is also very important. Just think about it vice versa. You come from a place that is supportive and caring, you're going to show up the different way. And this is also something that is going to help to build your mental health. Setting great boundaries, next one. Setting great boundaries is also very important. A great boundary protects your emotional well-being and prevents feelings of resentment or burnout. Boundaries help define what is acceptable, and it also promotes mutual respect in relationships. So you need to know that boundaries are very important. If you are coming from a place where there is no boundary, like you talk to people anyhow, people come into your house anyhow, when people, like when I was growing up, there was boundary. If you came to my house, not everybody who comes to my house can enter inside my father's bedroom or my mother's bedroom. And I know that a lot of us grew up that way. So, but maybe in some homes or your partner's home, they grew up with, there is this thing that they say Yoruba people call it. Is it bakumi? Like, I don't care. I think that's like a Yoruba term or something. So it's like, I don't care. There are people that live that type of lifestyle, like I don't care lifestyle. So in their house, anybody can come in, anybody can walk into any bedroom. So that's just an example of boundary, right? So if you're now coming together with somebody and your both foundations, this one is coming from a place that has boundary, this one is coming from where there is no boundary, and you come together, you are going to struggle a lot. Because when people come to your house, probably is the woman who is coming from a place where there is no boundary. And your friends come to the house. You're like, oh, come inside my husband's bedroom. And your husband is like, no, people are not supposed to come inside our matrimonial room, sit on our bed. Some people are like that. And you're like, no, come inside. He's not my friend. No, he's my friend. And how many friends are we talking about here? 10 different friends can come into that room. That's a lack of boundary. So you need to understand these things. You need to have these communications. Imagine if you have this type of communications. Imagine what level of nuisance, argument it can reduce in your relationships if you had this type of conversations, this mental health conversations before sealing the deal. Or even before, or even when you're in a relationship, it will drastically reduce a lot of things because there will be understanding, there will be comprehension, there will be compromise, there'll be a lot of things that will help the relationship to become healthier. Respect and trust, building mutual respect and trust. Conflict resolution, handling disagreements constructively, showing appreciation and gratitude. I'm moving on, please. Showing appreciation and gratitude. The power of appreciation. Regularly expressing gratitude strengthens relationships and promotes positive feelings. Imagine that they don't show, your partner is someone that don't show gratitude. Some people have that complaint, like my partner can never say thank you, or my partner is ungrateful. Some people have those type of complaints. My partner can never acknowledge that you've done something nice. That's lack of appreciation and gratitude. For you are saying it that this your partner is probably not well trained. Some people think, oh, this person is definitely intentionally behaving in this way. Because how can your sins not tell you that if I help you and clean your shoe, you should say thank you? I dated someone that he's not a Nigerian, and he said where he's coming from, when you eat, you don't say thank you. And when he told me that in the beginning of the relationship, I was very surprised. Like I would eat and say thank you, and he would never say thank you. And I was so shocked. Like, maybe, in fact, initially I thought he was trying to play that game of being a man, probably is a woman who is supposed to be saying thank you, that type of mentality. I initially thought that was what it was until we had the conversation and he said, oh, he's really sorry. In their place, they don't say thank you when you eat. In fact, when you go to somebody's house and eat, the person whose house you're eating will tell you thank you for eating our food, for even trusting us to eat our food. We don't say thank you. So eventually we both influenced each other. And even till now, which is why I say some of these things can be coming from past relationship. Because even till now, a lot of times I eat and I forget to say thank you. So if you're with me, you probably think this guy is really rude or or this guy is ungrateful. Well, it's just something that I learned. The morality of it depends on individuals or whatever. I don't know about the morality of it. I can't say it's good or bad. Maybe you can. I would like to even hear your thoughts on that. So, but like I said, some of these things some of this foundation can be coming from past relationship, can be influenced by past relationship and all of those things. So this is my own like experience. So showing appreciation and gratitude is very important to building a relationship, building the mental health foundation of a relationship. And also you need to consider, where is this person coming from? What is their own foundation like? Do they show appreciation where they are? Where did they learn this type of showing appreciation from? There are people that if you give them a pen, they will kneel down and thank you. I mean, it does not mean that they are good people, whatever, but that's how they learned their own, you know? And so these are all the things that we should put into consideration. In conclusion, cultivating fulfilling relationships are very, very important. Strong and great relationships are important for happiness. By investing time, practicing good communication, setting boundaries, and being supportive, you can build fulfilling relationships. Very, very important. You can build fulfilling relationships if you are intentional. That's the key, being intentional. And all of these things that I have mentioned, they are just tip of the iceberg. They're just tip of the iceberg. Like I said, if you read the Psychological Secrets to Unlock Your Partner, there are 5 keys that are listed there, well detailed, to help you unlock your partner. Because after learning everything that I've said here today, one thing that is very important that you should do is communication. You need to have that conversation with your partner. I know why you are behaving like this. Can we have this communication? What happened to you? I like the way Oprah Winfrey asks it. What happened to you? Like, if you're behaving a certain way, what happened to you? Because this cannot be normal. I made a post yesterday and someone came on the post and commented, and somebody came and responded to his comment. And this guy came and told the person, you know, get sense. I don't have time for you. Unprovoked, unprompted, there was no sign of abuse from the person who responded to him. That's his mental capacity is cultivated in a different way that has influenced the way he's thinking, feeling, and acting. So the question to this person is, what happened to you? Like, how far? How did you come up with abuse? This is just a conversation. And the next thing, you are abusing. How? What happened to you? Because you are telling the person, you are the one who is mad. Already, it won't come from me, but already they are showing symptoms of something is wrong. So if you're not fighting back and saying, you're the one who is mad. No, you're the one who is mad. I mean, there will be no solution. But probably this person even needs to see that, almost something is really wrong with me. How come this person just responded to me calmly, and the next time I'm insulting them? What really happened to me? How did I come about this type of mentality? What type of cement was used in my foundation, you know? So these are the practical ways that we can paint the canvas of love using mental health. Next slide, please. Thank you very much. And always know that there is no health without mental health. When it comes to mental health, there's a lot to discuss. Next slide, please. There is a lot to discuss, and it is endless. It is often endless, let alone mental health and relationships. But I just hope that with what I've said here today, I've been able to impart, even if it's a little bit, and I've been able to help you discover certain things, and which is going to help you make better decisions ahead for you and your relationships. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dima, for that impactful section. Thank you so much. I have learned a lot, and I'm so excited for this training. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So guys, we'll dive right into our Q&A section. So I want you guys, while we still have the host here, the speaker here. So please, I need your questions in the comment section. If you have anything you want the speaker to clarify, anything you want her to elaborate on, so please, now is the time for you to ask your questions.
Yeah, we have some hands up. It seems Otania has a question.
So I would ask her to unmute.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Can anyone hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, so my question is that for people that, okay, he made a very classical example of someone that does not say thank you when other people do basic things like cooking and now I'm talking from the place of the person that does not say thank you. Not that this man has his work and not to say, oh, I don't show appreciation. How can I improve on this? How can I have discussions? How can I make necessary amends to make sure that I show more appreciation to this person that is doing basic things for me? Because it could be from a place of that where I'm coming from. If you don't say thank you. Now my partner has brought up to me that, oh, do you know that whenever I do basic things for you, you don't say thank you. And I'm like, oh, are you serious? I did not know. And I would apologize definitely and express my express how I feel like, oh, I did not know I was doing this to you. But there's no guarantee that I would do it again. So in order for me to actually put this into practice, I have to um be conscious of I have to be conscious of showing appreciation in the future. What are the things that I can do to make sure that I cultivate the habit? Because it's not easy, and especially like if it's from like family upbringing and family, it's not easy to just cultivate it all of a sudden. It's not an excuse to say that you won't do it, but it's not an easy thing to do. So what can I do? What can the person do? What can I do? Yes.
Okay. Over to you, Ma. Ma, we cannot hear you. Please unmute your mic.
I
Okay.
said, I really didn't get that. Can you rephrase it for me? Can you rephrase it for me? Did you hear me?
Yeah, she's asking, can you rephrase the questions? So please,
No,
can you
no,
come again?
Can you rephrase the question?
Okay, sorry, I was not able to unmute myself. What I was saying
Uh,
was that for a person that is new, for a person that is
I can't
trying
still
to
hear you.
improve,
Can the host rephrase the question, please? Because I can hear her better. If you heard her, can you rephrase it?
okay, I will need her to say that again.
Okay.
okay. Sorry, what I was trying to say that in essence was
Okay.
that for a person that has like shortcomings in a relationship, like things like insulting and not being appreciated, how can they improve on themselves? Because it's not something that you can just cultivate all of a sudden. It has to be like a conscious step, a conscious like
Okay,
action
so
towards.
just to clarify, so if you have like a shortcoming in your relationship, how can you
Yes,
improve that? Okay,
yes,
Ma,
I've
so she's asking that she has like there's some shortcomings in the relationship that is not something that can be improved like overnight. So like how can she help to improve herself? Can you?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. So are you talking about yourself?
Yes, I think she said herself. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, in the case of whoever it is, yes, you cannot improve overnight, which is why these conversations are very important. Let's say that you've had these conversations and you now know the roof. You now know where you are coming from, why this is happening, why you are showing up in an angry way, why you are showing up with an attitude, why you are behaving in certain type of ways. Then you cannot start working on it. You can probably go for personal development therapy. There are some people who come for personal development therapy, anger management therapy. They know they have anger issues, so they go for anger management therapy. So you can book those type of sessions. There are personal development therapy sessions that will help you, change the way that you behave. In some cases, it's called cognitive behavioral therapy, depending on what that behavior is actually. So yes, it's not going to happen overnight, but knowing awareness is key, first of all. So whoever it is, because there is a lot of people who will refuse change. I've met people like that. I've dated someone like that who refuse change because they don't even believe that there is a problem. So if you now understand there is a problem and you believe there is a problem, then you can go to therapy if it's something that you cannot work on your own. But there are some things you can work on your own. Like your partner tells you, I don't like when you raise your voice at me. You can intentionally try to stop raising your voice at them, you know? So you can continuously work on it. And this is why these conversations are important. Because if your partner now knows this thing about you, they become your accountability partner. So they know you are not intentionally raising your voice. For example, there is this thing. If you're a first daughter, you can show up differently with the way you talk. For example, I'm a first daughter, and I've had people complain. I've been in relationships, and when I say relationships, it's not like I've been in hundreds of relationships. So please, I've been in relationships. Yeah, people, in fact, not even just relationships, friendships in the past, until I worked on myself. Where someone is saying to me, "You're raising your voice," and I'm like, "I'm not raising my voice." But it happened that this is the way I show up because being a first child, I had to groom other people. I was almost like a mother at some point. And this happens to a lot of first children, both men and women, especially women. For women, it could be worse because the man is thinking, oh, you want to override me. So if now you have had these conversations and your partner knows this meant they use mold your character, you will now know that you are not intentionally doing this thing. You don't want to dominate him. You don't want to ride him. This is just a way that you were formed unintentionally. So they cannot become your accountability partner. You know, so when you raise your voice, probably if you're talking and you raise your voice, babe, voice, you know, and the person needs to also be intentional. It's not going to be like a partner that is aggressive, like you are still raising your voice again. No, these are all, you know, that's why we talked about respectful communication. So it depends on what it is. You have to have the communication, look for an accountability partner, and if you cannot work on it alone, go to therapy. Therapy, everybody should actually be in therapy. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I hope your questions have been answered. If you need any more clarifications, please let us know. And also, do we have more questions? Any other person have something to ask? Any other questions? Please, if you have your question, please, you can raise up your hand or put in the chat box so we can identify you. I think we should have more questions because everybody, one way or the other, we have relationships, either romantic or not. So, and of course, relationship comes with a lot of problems. So I think we should use this opportunity now to ask questions. Now that we have a professional that can help us so that you can understand yourself better and you can have a better relationship. So please, please, please ask questions. It's very important for our well-being. So that you
Yeah,
don't go
I have a
about.
question. Yeah, I have a
Okay.
question. Hi, Dima. So, so I'm gonna ask questions based on situations, various situations that I've had to deal with, like, listening to people. I maybe share a few personal stuff. So hope you don't mind. So I'll be asking like different questions, right? So
Please go
let's talk
ahead.
about um the concept of nowadays, right? Looking at you gave an example talking about having to deal with someone that does not say thank you once they are, done with whatever it is that they are doing, right? I just want to talk about the importance of culture in terms of how people are brought up. So case in point, sometime last year, I went to represent a friend, and she's from a different background. And I know like, the family were saying stuff like, because, we are Yoruba, um, they were apologizing on our behalf that please, oh, it's not like our daughter is disrespectful, but like in the Yoruba culture, you have to always prostrate all of those things basically, right? So I don't know if you can just talk more about the importance of culture where there can seriously be an understanding, basically. right? From two parties coming together, how important is it for them to really, really be able to understand that, they're both from different cultures. They need to have this understanding so that there is no conflict, especially between the families. I've seen situations where certain families feel like, if you are shaking the father's hand, it means you are disrespectful. But this is like a cultural shift. So you have that one in one part. So that's the first question. Or should I ask one by one, Dima? I can go ahead. Let me just ask everything. Or should we take it one by one? Okay. Now, the second aspect is also a lot of times I see people enter relationships without having conversations about finance. I'm also a lawyer. When you look at some of the reasons why relationships end, especially in divorce, money is at the root cause of every single thing, right? So I don't know if you can just speak for those on the call that maybe are considering, getting into a relationship as to why having conversations around money is really important. I'm not saying money should be the focus, but I'm talking about just being able to plan financially, especially when you have a situation maybe your partner is not good with money, whether the man or the woman, in terms of saving, and you have so many situations where I see family dynamics where certain as times this person was rich. I have a friend, that spoke to me about how, sometime last year, the father just came to the house and said, um, their rent is expiring. He doesn't have the money to be able to like pay the rent for the next year. And, she's really angry at her dad at the moment. There's a lot of resentment, but that resentment is coming from the fact that they used to have money when they were young, right? But the father was not able to invest and plan strategically. And now, combined with that, like, a couple of things have also come up that now show that apparently he even has another family and they're just finding out, basically. So it's affecting the family. So for people that find themselves in that situation where there is resentment, then another dynamic is for ladies that grow up without their fathers in their life, where they are constantly entering relationships where they are being taken advantage of because there was no father-daughter relationship. How can they be able to help themselves so that they don't find themselves with victims that use them? Because you see most times that when we talk about money rituals, is as a result of luring this set of people that find themselves as victims of this, basically. Then also, I think lastly, talking about the concept of partnership in a relationship. For example, me personally, right, I don't believe in the man having to carry all the responsibility in a relationship, right? There are people that I've met people that say, you know what, the man has to be the sole person to provide. And I talk with the older men and they talk about, I have a friend now that is like in his 40s, he's not married. And I was talking about, having a conversation with the lady, and there were certain things that she said that just put him off. So I don't know if you can just touch on that in terms of um, respecting people's boundaries and just knowing what you're getting yourself into when it comes to different mindsets, right? There are people that don't believe in Dutch. There are people that believe that as a man, you have to constantly provide. His money is our money, my money is my money kind of mindset in relationships. Basically. I think I will stop there so that this will stir up the hearts of every other person to ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Dare. Where do I start from? So the reason why I'm thinking of where to start from is because I see what you said as more like input, because they just complement, the things that I have said. They are in line, and I truly agree with you. And I think someone mentioned culture in the chat box too, how culture has a role to play in relationships too. And just like the, example experience that I mentioned about me and my partner and how he wasn't saying thank you and all that. So what I would say is we still boil down to the same thing, having these conversations. Having these conversations is actually important, because then when you don't have them, you are putting your mind at risk. When you don't have these conversations, your mind is at risk because your mind will be left to conceive with whatever it wishes. So you are coming together with a partner who is coming from a different culture. And in their culture, they don't shake people. And in your culture, you can shake a person's hand, especially an elder. And so you are thinking to yourself, why is this person being disrespectful by shaking an elder? So, but if the conversation has already been had, you will now be able to accommodate this person, knowing that they are coming from a different place because of their culture or because of how they grew up. It could be different things. So another reason why these conversations are important is not for the relationship to survive by fire by force. No. It's also for you to understand whether this relationship can actually stand the test of time. Is this relationship good enough? Should you go ahead with it, especially if you are still in your dating stage? Should you go ahead with it? Is this the right time to cut it off, seeing that we're not compatible and that this person is not willing to compromise? Neither am I willing to compromise. So, of course, culture plays a very huge role in the way that our mental health is shaped, in the way that our mind is shaped. Our mind is, built to think, to feel, and to act. Culture plays a great role, and it will always play a big role. So when in asking the questions about what happened to you, what is your perspective? Why do you think like this? Why do you act like this? Why do you feel this way? Culture is very important and it should not be excused because it's the bane of our existence, it's the bane of our upbringing, and it will continue to influence the way that we think and feel. And now talking about having conversations about money and the importance of it, that's another really important thing. The topic of money a lot of times bring issues in relationships, serious issues. I've seen situations where the man believes, just like Darius said, he doesn't believe that the man is the provider. Well, I don't believe that either. I mean, the building of a home belongs to two people. So, but that's a whole different topic. But like I said, why these conversations are important is so that you know if you're on the same lane with the person that you're doing stuff with. If you're with a woman and the woman, say in the beginning of a conversation, the woman is saying, or talking stage, the woman is saying, my money does not belong to anybody. Oh. I know they give my money. Oh. Those type of talk. You need to watch it. You may not just run away from the situation. It may also, the person may be coming from somewhere. The person might have had serious issues where she was scammed by the opposite sex in the name of love. Same for the men. So these are conversations that should be had. The whole point of this is have these communications, talk about them. I've seen a situation where the man goes to the market and buy things. He buys food stuff and stock them in the house. And the woman is like, I don't understand. You want to go to the market, you buy food stuff. Probably where she's coming from is the man gives the woman money and say, go to the market. And she goes to the market and buy food stuff. So I don't know what her anger would be. Probably her anger is like, I don't get to save some money from the money or something like that. But someone like me that don't even like stress, please go and buy all the food stuff and come and keep it. Please, like, I'll be so grateful. How much am I going to save from it? So, but now this can be a serious base for conflict and confusion between two people. This little financial decision. And in fact, the man is not even doing it. In fact, I know one particular person personally, and he says that that's how he grew up. Growing up, his mother would give him money and say, I go to the market, go and buy stuff. Or even when they go to the market, he's the one carrying the bag, learning how the mom is, pricing stuff and all that. And now he's with someone who wants to do the market runs herself. Why will a man go to the market and buy things? You know all the price of everything. So this and that. I cannot, So it's different things for different people. They have their reasons. So when you have these communications, you come to a middle ground. If the man does not mind giving out the money, probably that's how he grew up, but he does not mind, giving the money for the woman to go and buy stuff, then why not? if that will stop the confusion, you know that you've had this communication and you've bridged that gap. So these financial communications and conversations are very important because they can cause a crash in the relationship. They can traumatize you. They can traumatize the way you see your partner. They can traumatize your view of your partner, the way you feel about them. And another thing is that the way that relationships happen, the way that the cracks start, it starts by changing or influencing just the whole meaning of mental health. It starts by influencing the way you think about your partner. And when you start thinking about them, let me say you start thinking about your partner as a stingy man. Probably now, in the case of this young man, the partner starts thinking of him as a stingy man. That we graduate to the next thing, feeling the way she feels about him. From thinking of him as a stingy man, she will start feeling resentment towards him. All this why this man does not know. So she's feeling resentment. From feeling, it goes to acting. She now start acting in resentment. So when the man goes to the market, buy all of this stuff, he's about to say, ah, babe, thank you so much, you've done well. She'll be like, she may just go for something to say. I'm sorry that I'm laughing. She may say something like, this is not the brand of oil I wanted though, you know? And probably there's nothing wrong with that oil. So all of these little things can cause a very big crack. And when it causes the crack, the two of you will fall inside. So communication is very, very important. And it's in the little things. It's in how the mind works. If we can understand the relationship between brain science and well-being, basically, just remember these things. This thing that I'm doing, the way that I grew up, or this thing that my partner is doing, the way that they grew up, is it influencing how they think, how they feel, how they act? Is it influencing how I think, how I feel, and how I act? So, at the end of this communication, I don't know if that's somehow throws more light on what you said, Arable. Those are my thoughts.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for answering that question. So please, guys, we still want more questions. I'm waiting for your questions. Please, 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 let's ask questions.
Please don't be shy. You can raise your hand and then you can ask the question, please. All right.
Okay, we're still going to wait for people to ask questions because I believe that there should be more questions because this is a very vital topic.
Okay. Gloria's hand is up and Otania. So Gloria, you can go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Can I be heard?
Yeah, we can hear you. Good afternoon, Gloria.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for what you just shared. It's not a question per se, but an input. You know, while you were talking, I started noticing the reason why I was, having issues understanding people. Because I'm coming from a background where there's so much love, there's so much peace. I'm a peaceful person. I forgive easily. But I when I started work, it was a bigger environment. People were really, I know that people didn't really care so much, and then I was putting in so much energy to make them understand, trying to explain myself, over begging. At the end of the day, it really took a toll on my mental health that I am still recovering from. So thank you so much for speaking to us. It also helped me, like, I view the world differently. I just see people and just leave them the way they are, honestly. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you. So please, the next person, please, can you ask your question? You have the floor.
Okay, so my question, okay, I have this thing. Sorry, can you hear me? I guess I'm being heard. Because I think last time nobody heard me.
Yes,
Please.
yes, we can hear you. Please go
Okay,
ahead.
so I have this thing, and I think unconsciously, no, consciously, or very evident, people that I had been with in the past kind of like just pointed it out. And somehow, in a way, after like today's conversation, I realized that it actually has to do with being a first child, being a first girl child, and having to like take care of little people, little children, and everything. So I have this thing. I don't know what I would say it is first daughter syndrome. That most times I want to be in control. It is not, and it's not like I do it like just to make anybody feel some certain type of way or just to like lord my opinions and values over somebody. It's just that in a way I have been programmed to that things are supposed to follow a particular structure. And you know the structure. The structure is okay, you're supposed to mop. Mopping makes the house clean. You're supposed to follow that structure. So I try to put it out that, oh, you're supposed to mop this particular type of way to make the house clean. And it would seem like I'm trying to be bossy or trying to control other people's behaviors and action. And I know maybe they were not coming from like a point of. I know maybe it was just a not. It was not really like a big deal, but I'm actually seeing that it's going to be a big deal if I don't actually work on it. And instead of trying to be on top almost all the time, why don't I just sit back and let people do their thing? Then if it's wrong, I can just come in instead of trying to shut it down before it actually happens. So I don't my question is that how can for someone that is so used to having to make sure things are in order and just coming from a background whereby if things are not in order, you are always going to be in trouble or you are going to be the one that will take the blame. How can I make sure that this particular mindset does not affect my relationship in the future? Because I think it might have affected one of them. Like thinking about it now, okay, maybe the reason for this thing was because of this way. And also, I overthink a lot. I overthink things like if I'm dating somebody, I would ask them, oh, do you love me? Do you still like me? Do you still want to be with me? And they somehow, the last person I was with somehow turned it to be that I was doubting them or I was guilt tripping them. So I don't know. I want to know if it's wrong to try to, although it's because of past traumas, although it's because of past traumas that I'm trying to overthink my place in somebody's life, but is it wrong to want to affirm my position in somebody at every given moment just because of fear of abandonment or fear of that this person has fallen out of love with me? Is it wrong? And if it's wrong, how do I not do this thing more often than I used to before? Because I can't actually help it. So, I don't know if yeah, it is.
Okay, thank you for that question, Ma. Please, over to you.
Hold on. Thank you for that question. So these types of questions make me smile because a lot of times people come into therapy with things like this. And it sort of gives me a lot of joy. When we say people should be in therapy, everything that we're talking about here, some of them can be sorted just by talking or saying, oh, this is what I think. Others need you to actually go to therapy. But unfortunately, we live in a society where people are sick. Like, if someone had a serious stomach ache or serious headache just before we started this program, the person won't be here. The person would have made an excuse for themselves and said, no, I can't be there, I'm having a headache. They want to take medication. And if it's that serious, they would have been rushed to the hospital. But when it's mental health, something that is threatening your relationship, whether work or whatever, people hardly, give in to therapy because they're thinking, why will I spend because someone wants to talk to me? But that even brings me to clarifying one thing. But I'm not going to dwell on that. That therapy is not about talking to people. It's actually far more than that. But back to your question. Let's start with, always wanting to be in control. I totally understand. And I'm really sorry that you feel that way. And it has probably affected some things for you in the past. Like I said again, if everybody get an awareness of mental health, we'll have a healthier society. How? Imagine that your partner knew anything about first daughter syndrome or about mental health. Do you think that there would have been a little more understanding? Because they themselves are not perfect either. There would have been a little more understanding, probably a little more tolerant. But because they are seeing it for them, this is your character. You want to control. They can't be tolerant. And that's because of lack of awareness of mental health. Now, coming to, wanting to put things in order, you want people to do things a certain kind of way. That also brings me to, this mental health statistics that we're talking about. It's not just about how did they grow up. And this is one of the keys that I also mentioned in my book. Decode their mental health status. If you're dating someone who has anxiety disorder, just like I use myself as an example, you might face certain things. If you're dating someone who has anxiety disorder, you can't play certain type of play with that person. Like now, if you're with me, you can't just come to scare me and you say you're playing. No, you cannot play that kind of play with me. I don't like it. And I will sternly warn you, because you can give me heart attack. The way that my brain is wired, I cannot sustain those type of frights, that type of frightening situation. So now when you were talking about wanting this to be a certain way, it could be first daughter syndrome. It could also be a mental disorder. By disorder, it's not like, of course, not madness. Like it could be a mental illness. Some people have OCD. Like one of the symptoms of OCD is wanting things to be a particular way. People with OCD, we clean where you have cleaned before. People with OCD, if you keep this stuff here, if they keep this thing here, let it be there. Don't come and shift it and turn it like this. If they kept it like this, if you shift it like this, you are disorganizing their thinking faculty. They can't focus. So if, for example, you marry someone with OCD, or you're dating someone with OCD, and you've never heard anything about mental health, you've never heard anything about OCD, and every time the person arranges stuff and you come and disorganize it, the person is so mad, it can cause panic in the person. You're wondering, it's like this my partner has mental issues, but your definition of mental issues would be madness. Meanwhile, that's a legit mental illness that you need psychological treatment for. And in fact, OCD has no cure, but it is treatable, meaning that you can manage it. So, but that's just an example. So you also need to understand, that's why self-awareness is important. Now, if you have understood, like, okay, maybe this is first daughter syndrome, then you need to start working on yourself. Or even if it is OCD, you need to also start working on yourself. Just like you said, maybe I should pull back sometimes and let people do their thing. Yes, maybe you should do that. That would really help. Because I used to be like that too. I used to be that person that wants to clean. In fact, if you come to my house, and you want to wash, even now I'm still like struggling. If you finish eating and you want to go and wash your plates, even if you're like my friend, I'll say, no, don't worry. Because in my head, I'm thinking, oh, you may pour water on the floor. You may not wash the plates the way I want it. Like my brain is just thinking a lot of things. But I had to consciously learn to say, you know what? Let the person wash it. Let them pour the water. No problem. Maybe I want to clean it later. So some people are like that. And it's sometimes it's just like some sort of syndrome, why sometimes it's a mental illness. So that's why awareness and communication is important. So now, if you find that this is something you're struggling with and you cannot deal with it on your own, then you can go to therapy so they can help you to develop behavioral strategies that will help you, you know, not to overdo these things so that you don't run into problems in your relationship. Because even if your partner has understood that, okay, you have this thing, you still also need to be intentional about it. And then, yes, overthinking is a thing. It could be fear of abandonment. If you have fear of abandonment, then you need to go to therapy so you can work on it. Because if you have fear of abandonment, it's going to affect your relationships. You'll be having trust issues. It is fear of abandonment that can affect, you know, the way a person shows up confidently in the relationship. It can affect your self-esteem. And when your self-esteem is affected, you will continuously need reassurance. People with anxiety disorder face this type of things too, overthinking. So you need to also do like a mental health check. Do I have anxiety disorder? Because there's people with anxiety disorder that overthinks. People with anxiety disorder, by the time your partner has not responded to your message, you're thinking, oh, who knows what they are doing now? You imagine them where they are relaxing, eating chicken, and they have decided not to even respond to your message. That's what your brain is telling you. So you constantly need reassurance. So there are some mental disorders that when you have them, some of the symptoms is that you'll be needing too much reassurance. You'll be overthinking things. So you need to work on it. You need to be intentional, and that will happen when you go to therapy. So yeah, I don't know if that helps. Does that help?
Yeah, I think you have answered the question quite rightly. Thank you so much. We have one more question in the chat box. I'll just read it out. Olajumoke is asking, how about religious, in bracket, dominations difference? I still feel like maybe I should have compromised on accepting to stay despite of our difference in point of view. It's affecting my decision in even starting a new relationship. So basically, I think she and the partner had like a different religious background, and that affected our relationship. So please, can you throw more light on that?
Okay. First of all, please don't make a compromise that you cannot handle. And don't feel bad for making compromises that you cannot sustain. Don't make a compromise that you cannot sustain or handle. And don't feel bad for making compromises that you cannot sustain. Because this thing they say about a broken relationship being better than a broken marriage, let me tell you, it is literal. It is not cliche. It is not just a saying, it's the truth. So if you know that you cannot sustain something, leave it. The person who is meant for you will come. But if you feel that you might have been too rigid on your views, genuinely, not because you want to compromise on your views, probably because of fear of not meeting someone or fear of loneliness, which happens to a lot of us, is not a shameful thing. Every one of us, a lot of us go through it. So probably because of that, it shouldn't be because of your view shouldn't be based on that. If you feel genuinely that, oh, I have been too rigid, then you can reconsider your views. What are you? And I don't understand like what type of religious. I know some of these things can happen, and I even like face something like that. I face quite a lot of things. So, but you shouldn't compromise. In my case, I didn't compromise. Don't compromise on what you will not sustain, because you are laying the wrong foundation. You'll be laying a deceitful foundation, not even for your partner, for your own self. You'll be the one who will hurt later on in the relationship. So I wish I could know more about like what the religious denomination you're talking about. I mean, sorry, what view you are talking about, right? Let me look at it again. I wish I could know exactly what difference in point of view you're talking about. Are you talking about difference in your belief system, or difference in the way that you view life, or difference in some minor things? Because there are some minor things about denominations, like probably these people tie hair tie, these people don't tie hair tie. Those things are minor things. So, but depending on your belief system, I'm talking like if you're a Christian, right? But let's say you're a Muslim, that may not be compromisable for you. So depending on what the point of view is, you can compromise. You can compromise. But if it is something you know that you cannot sustain, then don't do it. You can still talk further about this. You can reach out and talk further about this if it's something really personal to you. Because I see you say you're struggling to start a new relationship because of that. And I don't know what to say about that until I get like more details.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. Thank you for answering that. So I think we have one more question, and that will be the end of question and answer. So please go ahead.
Okay. All right. So someone sent this question, so that's why. So the conversation is regarding, I think, trauma bonding. So that's one part of the question, when people meet and they are connecting as a result of trauma that they've both had to like deal with. If you could speak on that, what happens when someone gets out of that trauma? And then the other conversation is regarding communication of past, right? So this person feels like, they had, done an abortion in the past. They feel like if they communicate this, they'll be judged by their partner and they don't want to lose the person. So they do not want to speak on this. The other question is regarding having been raped, growing up, having to share this. Like, should she communicate this to her partner? How can she be able to navigate? So trauma bonding, if you could speak on trauma bonding, communication about past incidences regarding doing an abortion. And then the last question is regarding having to have been molested or raped, basically, and communicating it to the partner. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to start with communication of the past and whether it's important. This question is something that I enjoyed other people answering in the past. Give me a minute. This question is something that I enjoyed other people answering in the past. Until I got into the field of mental health. Communicating your past experiences. Personally, I would say it depends. And this is why going to therapy is important. Like if you've healed from something and it's no longer affecting the way that you show up, then that communication may not be important. Like if you were traumatized from a certain thing and you've healed from it and you become better, then you are sure that it won't affect the way that you are showing up in your relationship. Then there may be no need to reveal an insignificant secret. Let me not even call it secret, information. Because the way that people understand things are very different. But if it is something you know that you are still struggling with, and it is influencing the way that you show up, then you will have to communicate that so that your partner is not lost, right? And if it's something, and this type of communication should be in the beginning, not when you are like far in and then to go leave the relationship will not be so difficult, or it's like it will not extremely hurt you when you leave the relationship, or like if the person does not understand you, it may or like if the person does not understand you, it may like hurt you a lot. So you need to know what exactly that information is and is it affecting you. And that's why I talked about self-awareness. Like if you're self-aware, I like some of the questions that are being thrown because it shows self-awareness. Like the person who asked about being in control, overthinking, it shows that they now know themselves. They know what they are capable of. So knowing your capacity, knowing what you are capable of is going to influence it's going to help you understand how you will show up in a relationship. If you know that you are someone that this happened to, and this has not made you behave in this type of way. Like there are some things that may last longer than others. There are certain traumas that the aftermath may last longer than others. If you have those type of traumas in your life, then you may not, you may need to like communicate whatever situation it is to your partner. But if it is like something you've healed from, like I said, which is why going to therapy is very, very important. Healing from the situation is very, very important so that you show up better in your relationships. Then there may not be need to communicate certain things that may cause, emotional insecurity or distrust in your relationship. So that's what I'll say about communication of past experiences. And then being raped, of course, that's also part of it. Whether it's rape or abortion or anything, if it is affecting you, you have to talk about it. If it is not affecting you, then you can move on, show up better. And this person knows, oh, you're showing up better. You're not afraid of this. You are not, you're showing your best. And that past is not affecting you. Then there may not be need for that conversation. Okay. But if you're looking for your partner to understand that, please watch you. If we get married, I may be behaving like this. Or like when we get married in the other room, I may be like this. I may be like this. This is how I may show up. It is because of this. If you know that that is going to happen, then you have to show up in that conversation, because like we already learned, great relationships can also help you heal. They are one of the healing balms for some of the mental struggles that we have. So if your partner knows that, they can actually be a source of healing for you, because now they understand and they're going to be playing a part. Even if two of you are in therapy together, they're going to be playing a part in helping you do better. And then trauma bonding and codependency. What I'll say about trauma bonding and codependency is that, well, if you, trauma bonding is something that is not advisable, because no matter how two people face the same thing, they still have different feelings about it. Like you faced the same situation, but it's going to affect how you think in a different way. It's going to affect how you feel in a different way. And it's going to affect how you act in a different way. But it may be the same situation. And you're thinking, oh, since it's the same situation, we're trauma bonding. No, you have to heal from that. So, of course, basically, go to therapy, whether you're doing the therapy together or not. But aside trauma bonding, in this aspect, there's something called codependency. Codependency is something that can cause emotional attachment disorder, which is also like where people trauma bond from things that have happened to them, by them, and from them. I don't know if like you understand that. So two people in a relationship, this relationship gets toxic. They become emotionally attached to each other, that leaving that relationship is very difficult. So now they are trauma bonding. So it's not like they are trauma bonding from an experience that they had from outside the relationship and they are trying to heal from it. They are trauma bonding from what is happening to them in the relationship. They can't leave the relationship. So now they become codependent on each other and they can't leave. So that codependency has now caused like emotional attachment disorder. So they are struggling to leave each other, even though they know that this is not healthy for them. So what I would advise, of course, is go to therapy. Go to therapy because you need psychological treatment. If you are trauma bonding, whether with your partner or from your partner, you need to go to therapy and get psychological treatment, because nothing I will say here will heal you from there or from that, or will save you from that. You should go to therapy, whether individually or with your partner. That's what I will say.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much for answering that beautifully. So quickly, just tell us about your book and where we can get them, where if they're available for us.
Okay, so this book was written because I have suffered myself in relationships. Probably the one relationship that I had in my life that was really important I really suffered in it. And so when I started my journey in mental health, I looked back and I said, oh my God, this would have been a lot better. This would have been a lot better for a lot more reasons. But what I wouldn't know is if my partner would have been willing to compromise, if he understood what was going on. And so in my journey of mental health, having coached different people, several people regarding relationship, depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, and understanding what relationship can do to people, that it can make or mar them, I was inspired to then, write this book. And that was after discovering and decoding the secrets to unlocking your partner. I mean, when I discovered these secrets, I felt really bad. Because like I said, that relationship would have turned out far better. And I know that this is something that a lot of us face, struggling to demystify the other person in the relationship. A lot of times in a relationship, we are questioning, does this person even love us? Do they want us? Just like someone said earlier, you can know these things just by reading this book. They don't even need to tell you. You are the one who will tell yourself, because now you have understood what they are doing, what some of the unspoken words that they are sharing with you. So this book comes from a place of passion. It comes from a place of concern. It comes from a place of experience, deep knowledge and insights. I had to read some of the things in that book. The knowledge of them came from more than 5 books. So you can imagine how, how beautiful or how packed up the book is. So if you're looking to like demystify your partner, understand their mental health better, even understand your own, build a healthier relationship, then this book is for you. Maybe it can be shared in the chat for people to see. So I'm basically running a discount on it, just so that people can afford it, just so that many people get to read it. 2 days ago, my friend was telling me that book is too cheap. Go and change the price of that book. And I said, no, I'm not like after the profit or whatever. I just want people to be able to read that book, because when they read it, then they can refer it. And that's just what I want. So you can get it for 2,500 with the link in the description box. It's a really good book. And one more thing, the book is actually a beautiful book. Like, I mean, literally, inside of the book is beautiful. Like, when I look at the book myself, sometimes I'm just flipping through it because I really just like it, the aesthetics. So if you're someone who even struggled to read, you will find it interesting reading it, because inside of the book is really, really nice. It has really nice graphics, fonts, and that's one of the things that actually influences me to read, someone like me. So if you're like me, because I have dyslexia, so if you're like me and you're someone who is distracted by reading, you can't stop, flipping the pages once you start. So that's it about the book. Whether you are
Thank you so
dating
much.
or married, the book is good for you.
Thank you so much, Ma. It was nice having you. Thank you for your impactful section. Thank you for imparting us and training us on how to manage our relationships better. I know, like every other person like me have learned, and we're able to improve our relationship. So I just want to say that we're very grateful for this opportunity. So thank you so much. Please, let's appreciate our speaker in the chat box. Just say thank you. And also, you can also mention the part that stuck with you. And for me, my take home for this is that we should just give people more grace and try to understand our partners, because we don't know what they have been through. So giving them more grace and more just space to express themselves will help us to understand them better, and it will help improve our relationship. So thank you so much, everybody. Please, let's not forget about the certificate that is available for this training. So if you want to get a certificate for this training, so please reach out, and you can also signify right now on the chat, and we'll reach out to you to get that certificate. And please follow our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, on Twitter, and also on LinkedIn, ASAT. Just type ASAT, or you can type the full name, Anti-Suicide and Depression Squad, and I'm sure you'll find it. All our social media handles, and also the links are on the chat box, so you can also just find it there. Yeah, thank you. So on the chat box, I can see people saying thank you, Ma, thank you, Ma. So thank you so much, Ma, for this training. We also have links for the books and the pictures on the chat box. So please do well to buy the book and also reach out if you have more questions. So at this point, we'll be taking our vote of thanks. I'll be calling on Sandra to take our vote of thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Sandra. Hope we had a good time and we learned one or two things. On that medium, I would like to extend our gratitude from ASAD. Thank you so much for today's mental health training. You didn't only make it possible, you also made it impactful. And to our trainer, Dima, thank you so much for sharing your stories, your knowledge, and your time. You help us understand how to foster our healthier relationship, not just in our personal life or intimate life, but also in our professional life. Thank you so much. It was really, really amazing session. Thank you so much. And to our organizers, thank you so much for organizing such an impactful and amazing mental health training. Thank you so much. Thank you for your efforts. And to our participants, thank you so much for showing up with an open mind and open heart. Mental health begins with awareness, and your presence here today is a proof that we're on the right path. We are building a stronger community of support. Thank you so much for your engagement, time, and willingness to learn. Moving forward, I hope we take everything we've learned here today, not just store it in our notes, but also in our hearts, and implement it in our daily lives for ourselves and those around us. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for making today's mental health training possible and impactful. Do not take this for granted. Thank you so much. And you can reach out to us on our social media handles. The link for our social media handles is on the chat box. And we're looking forward to seeing you again next month. Once again, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Sandra. Thank you, everybody. So this will be the end. We have come to the end of our training. I hope you have learned a thing or two. I hope you will implement it in your lives. I hope that your relationships become better after this training. I hope that you not just be a hearer, but also a doer of what you have heard, so you can improve yourself and your quality of life. Because mental health is something that is very important and a lot of people do not pay attention to. But I feel for your life for you to live a good life, your economic, social, and spiritual well-being has to be intact. And for your social part comes your relationship too. So if you're having problems in your relationship, you will not be living a healthy life because you'll be worried, you'll be depressed, and you'll be having issues which can also affect every other aspect of your life. So this is a very, 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 very important aspect of our life. So we should pay good attention to it. And also, please, if you are somebody that have struggles, if you have issues that you would like to talk about, if you are struggling with your mental health, please feel free to reach out to ASAT. We have listeners who are available 24/7 to attend to your needs. And Also, if you want to volunteer and be a part of what we're doing, please feel free to reach out to us and we will attend to you. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Ms. Dima. Thank you so much for the organizers. Thank you so much for joining. See you next month on our next training. And also, you'll be getting emails from us for your feedback. We would like to have a feedback from you so we can know how to improve and how to serve you better. So thank you so much, guys. And please look out for your emails for our next mental health training, because this happens every month. We put out these trainings to help people to improve their quality of life. So please make yourself available to join next month. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining, and goodbye.